And I think just to put a fine point on this, because this is the third or fourth question I've answered on this subject, when you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense.
Well, in terms of programming,
Sounds
should we
fun.
expect to see you here every day? How frequently will these press briefings be?
It is a good question, April. So look, the president, as you know, is incredibly accessible. First day here, he wanted all of you in the Oval Office. You got a 60-minute press conference with the leader of the free world while he was simultaneously signing executive orders. I may add that's pretty impressive. I don't think the previous office holder would be able to pull such a thing off. So look, the president is the best spokesperson that this White House has, and I can assure you that you will be hearing from both him and me as much as possible.
They never learn, do they? The woke media thought they could corner Karoline Leavitt with their usual loaded questions. But spoiler alert, it didn't end well for them. She didn't just dodge their traps, she flipped the script, hit them with facts, and sent them scuttling with their tails between their legs. It's like watching a heavyweight champ knock out rookies in the first round. Stick around because what you're about to see is nothing short of brutal. But if you are new here, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications.
Speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as speaking on, advocating on behalf of the president, or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
So you don't miss any of these spicy segments like this. Personally, I don't even blame the reporter for asking this question. After all, they've spent years watching the Biden administration peddle nonsense, like claiming inflation was transitory while prices skyrocketed, or insisting the border was secure as crossings hit record highs. So, of course, they're conditioned to expect spin. But here's the kicker. This was Leavitt's first day as White House press secretary.
I commit
You'd
to telling the
think they'd
truth
test the
from this
water.
podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people, and that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
But no, they went straight for a trap. Too bad for them. Karoline saw it coming a mile away. Let's roll her answer, and then I'll break it down. Karoline's got some serious backbone. Just 10 minutes into her debut, and she's already dropped a truth bomb that took out 2 birds with 1 stone. First, she promised to clear the fog surrounding the White House's lack of transparency by delivering cold, hard facts, no spin, no dodging. But she didn't stop there. She went straight for the jugular, calling out legacy media for the mountain of lies they've shamelessly pushed. Remember when they swore Trump called neo-Nazis very fine people? Yeah, conveniently cropped quotes tend to leave out the part where he explicitly condemned them. But Karoline wasn't just venting. She ended her verbal smackdown by flipping the script. If the press wants to hold her accountable, she's holding them to the same standard.
She made anti-woke efforts. We understand this administration is thinking about celebrating Black History Month. Have you got any word on that? Anything that you can offer to us?
It crystal clear. Any outlet caught twisting facts or pushing partisan narratives will be called out loud and clear. And judging by the looks on those reporters' faces, they weren't ready for this kind of energy from the podium. Leavitt didn't just take the job, she took control. These woke folks aren't even trying to hide it anymore. One journalist flat out asked what Trump planned to do about Black History Month, given his so-called anti-woke and anti-DEI stance. Now, my sixth sense tells me this wasn't curiosity, it was a trap, a loaded question designed to paint Trump's administration as anti-black and stir outrage among
As
black
far
voters.
as I know, this White House certainly
Classic.
still intends to celebrate, and we will continue to celebrate American history and the contributions that all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed, have made to our great country, and America is back.
Playbook move. But trust Karoline, she came prepared. Instead of taking the bait, she flipped the narrative, reminding everyone that American history isn't defined by skin color but by contributions from all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed. And just like that, the trap collapsed under its own weight. And to think, Karoline Leavitt is just 27 years old. Yep, you heard that right. But don't let the age fool you. This girl's built for battle. Leavitt studied communications and political science at St. Anselm College in New Hampshire, her home state. Straight out of college, she landed a spot in Trump's first administration, serving as assistant press secretary under Kayleigh McEnany. Her job was helping McEnany prep for those high-press briefings, sharpening talking points and dismantling media spin before it hit the podium. But Leavitt didn't stop there. In 2022, she ran for Congress, taking down the establishment
President
GOP
talks
favorite
a
in the
lot
primaries.
yesterday about hiring the best and the brightest to work in the federal government. Safety aside, does he believe that disabled people do have a place to work in the federal government? And does he also support the current protections for disabled people working in the private sector as well?
The president has made it very clear that this is a common sense solution to solving some of the problems that we have seen at the Federal Aviation Administration and also when it comes to many of the federal agencies across our government. People should not be hired based on their disabilities, based on their skin color, their gender, their race. None of that matters. What matters to this president and this administration is how well you can do your job, and the American people agree with that sentiment. So it's about competence, skill, and merit. And so the president is focused on ensuring that the most competent individuals, the best and the brightest in this country, are in positions in this federal government, especially when it comes to public safety. Can't overemphasize the importance of those jobs.
Sure, she lost to the Democrat incumbent in the general election, but she made waves and clearly caught Trump's eye. Now, as press secretary, she's not just holding the line, she's pushing it forward. Young? Sure. Inexperienced? Not even close. So her answer to the journalist was based on her experience. Now, you'd think that after taking such a beating, the journalist would back down. But no, they kept asking one DEI question after another. But Leavitt, she stood her ground. It's just common sense. Hire the best, the brightest, and the most qualified, especially for jobs that impact public safety. You know, like making sure planes actually land safely. But no, the woke mob would rather hand out jobs based on skin color, race, gender, or disability, as if diversity quotas somehow make airplanes fly straighter. And let's be honest, that's not about fairness, it's about playing the victim card to climb the ladder. Competence be damned. The whole give me the job because I check a box mentality has nothing to do with merit and everything to do with entitlement. Leavitt didn't just
And
reject
I think
that
just
nonsense.
to put a fine point on this, because this is the third or fourth question I've answered on this subject. When you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense.
Stephen Hawking was disabled, but that didn't stop him from reaching the apex in the scientific community. Not only that, he is regarded in most circles as the greatest theoretical physicist of all time. Sadly, these questions kept coming up for Leavitt to put an end to all of this woke nonsense. Enough said. There's really nothing left to add after that hammer blow from one of the sharpest White House press secretaries we've seen in a while.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
For a display of wit and wisdom like that, you'd think no one would dare question Leavitt's competency. Cue The View, led by Joy Behar. The ladies wasted no time tearing her down, not with facts or logic, but by chalking up her success to her looks. Because of course, when you can't counter someone's argument, you attack the person instead. Classic. Some critics called Beho sexist for those remarks, but I see it differently. This isn't sexism, it's pure unfiltered jealousy. Beho knows she could never match Leavitt's brilliance, eloquence, or composure, even if she were given 9 lives and a personal speech coach. Leavitt's words hit with precision, while Beho stumbles through talking points like someone reading a teleprompter for the first time. It's not just about age or experience, it's about capability. Leavitt walks into the lion's den daily, faces a hostile press corps, and leaves them grasping for straws. Beho. She takes cheap shots from the safety of a daytime talk show
we
panel
want people to
surrounded by
return to work. We have beautiful federal office buildings here in Washington, D.C. that American taxpayers are paying for. They should be used. That's what the American people deserve.
But is there any concern that we risk losing people with years of experience like doctors and let's say scientists?
Well, most doctors who work in actual hospitals and medical institutions have to show up to the office. We know that employees are more productive and more efficient when they are working in an in-office environment, and that's what this administration expects, and I think that's what American taxpayers expect. Don't forget, it's the American people who are funding this government, and they deserve people who are actually showing up to work on their behalf.
Heads who'd rather clap than challenge her. It's easy to criticize from the sidelines when you'll never have to play the game, and that's the real root of Beho's bitterness. Watching someone younger, sharper, and undeniably more competent steal the spotlight she never earned. Leavitt's sharp wit and rhetoric isn't only limited to White House press conferences. Here's Leavitt dismantling another journalist in a completely different setting. Good Morning America. Here she is, taking a well-aimed jab at woke reporters pushing for those ridiculous work-from-home policies. If your job requires you to be in the office, then show up, because the taxpayers footing the bill expect you to actually deliver the services they're paying for.
Should we expect to see you here every day? How frequently will these press briefings be?
It is a good question, April. So look, the president, as you know, is incredibly accessible. First day here, he wanted all of you in the Oval Office. You got a 60-minute press conference with the leader of the free world while he was simultaneously signing executive orders. I may add, that's pretty impressive. I don't think the previous office holder would be able to pull such a thing off. So look, the president is the best spokesperson that this White House has, and I can assure you that you will be hearing from both him and me as much as possible.
Remote work might fly in the private sector, but when it comes to government jobs that directly impact public services, presence matters. Federal office buildings aren't just decorative, they exist for a reason. Leavitt made it clear, the American people deserve more than empty desks and Zoom calls. It's about accountability, not convenience. But Leavitt saved the best for last. On her first day as press secretary of the White House, she took some well-placed jabs at President Biden and her supporters. Where's the lie? Joe Biden can barely handle walking across a stage without someone guiding him, let alone juggling press conferences while signing executive orders. Remember when he wandered off during the FEMA briefing, leaving everyone, including his own staff, looking confused? Or when he completely blanked during a live interview, mumbling, "What am I doing here?" Yeah, not exactly confidence-inspiring. Frankly, I think Leavitt is built for this job, sharp, composed, and always 3 steps ahead. If this is what she's delivering on day 1, imagine what's coming next. The media might not like it, but they'd better get used to it. Leavitt didn't just survive her first week, she dominated it. Cool under pressure, razor-sharp with facts, and completely unfazed by woke gotcha questions. If the press thought they could steamroll her, they've got another thing coming. This isn't just a press secretary, it's a reckoning, and she's only getting started. That'll be all for today, folks. If you enjoyed it, then smash the like button and subscribe to this channel for more spicy anti-woke content like this. Remember to share with your friends so we can take down wokeness together. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.